Are you serious? Are you serious? Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. I'm so glad you guys are with me today. I'm going to talk about gigantic hailstones of biblical proportion are starting to fall everywhere. But before I get into that, and you're not going to believe some of these examples, but first of all, in these crazy days, unprecedented times, death in the family can be hard. Unfortunately, we all have to deal with it sooner or later, and all of us leave behind those final expenses such as funeral costs, medical bills, and other debts. In fact, the average funeral alone is between $8,000 and $9,000. Having no insurance when you die can leave your loved ones with a huge bill to deal with, and nobody wants to do that. So we want you to take control of your family's destiny today and have the satisfaction that they will be financially taken care of. You can do this if you'll visit www.ratefamily.com and get a free quote. No waiting periods, 100% benefits. And even if you've been turned down before, they guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter what the situation is. Yes, that's right. They guarantee coverage for everybody, no matter what the situation is. Now, some members pay as low as $36 a month. It's all based on your income level. So please visit them today at www.ratefamily.com. That's www.ratefamily.com. Or pick up the phone, call them right now at 855-919-RATE. That's 855-919-RATE. You'll be glad you did. All right, now let me just tell you what's going on. We have hailstone and hailstorms of a biblical proportion falling all over the world, and they're getting bigger and bigger. Recently, an investigation into a hailstones that took place in Villa Carlos Paz, Cordoba, Argentina, were just insane. They were apocalyptic. Now, when this happened, it had a lot of people thinking it's just a freak accident, it's a freak situation, but that's not the case. We had 4-pound hailstones that were falling just a few days ago, the size of melons in Mexico. And then this past week, as Drake on the Drake Report last Sunday night showed us, hailstones that weighed 5.5 pounds falling in northern Texas. So this is continuing to take place in different parts of the world. In the Argentine hailstorm that was so off track, there was that was back when the hail was about 8 inches in diameter. As a matter of fact, we had some hail also in South Dakota back in 2010 that was 11 inches in diameter. But nothing like now. Bowling ball size hail falling in Texas, melon size hail falling in Mexico. And the Bible told us that these things are going to happen. But now Mike around the world was with us last night. Had a great show last night. 53 people got saved in that broadcast last night. We had a huge crowd with us live at one point, over 5,000 people live. Here's what happens. People are getting to realize something is seriously taking place. Now, I went to the Bible to get a clue on what might be taking place in these last days. The increase of hail. And the Bible says in the book of Joel, there'll be, blood and fire and pillars of smoke, and the sun will be darkened, and the moon shall turn to blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord shall come. It also talks about hail and brimstone falling from heaven. As it was in the days of Lot, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. Well, we know that took place. But in the book of Revelation, the Bible talks about great hail, the size of talents. It says that in the seventh angel, I'm in Revelation 16:17, and the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne saying, "It is done." And there were voices and thunderings and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake such as was not since men have been upon the earth. Now, we haven't seen that yet, thank God. So mighty an earthquake, and so great. And the great city was divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. And great Babylon came in remembrance before God, to give unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And I said, well, what is that? Well, I found in biblical history that a talent depend on the civilization and the time period. A talent could weigh as much as 50 pounds, some were 75 pounds, and some were 100 pounds. So somewhere between 50 and 100-pound hailstones. I mean, that is huge. So will fall from the heavens. Now wait to hear this. It says every island was fled away, every mountain were not found. There fell upon men great hail out of heaven, every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague thereof was exceeding great. Now, we started finding out from some of the study the heavens. The scientists have been studying the heavens about this incoming debris, this debris field. And this is according, of course, some of it you can find in the little green file. Those of you who got a copy of the little green file. But we're finding out that this debris field, Mike from Around the World calls it a debris clusters, that is coming. They are meteorites and asteroids. A lot of these meteorite rocks are literally ice. They're just huge boulders of ice. And when these huge boulders of ice come racing into the Earth's atmosphere, the fire will burn a lot of it up, but not all of it. And so it will still crash to the ground, and they'll weigh easily 50, 70, 100 pounds, even greater. And then there's going to be the rock, the meteorite itself, made of metals like nickel and iron and other precious metals, or metals, even some that's not even from this earth, because these we're getting hit with stuff from the cosmos, not from the earth itself. And I have that meteorite downstairs in my studio that fell from the heavens. That's 25% iron and nickel, and 75% some type of rock formation, which is not from this planet, but it's quite heavy. So we're going to see hail, fire, and brimstone, and that's what fell in the days of the city of Sodom, the twin cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the other 5 cities surrounding that. That's what fell upon them, and it happened in Joshua one time too. When Joshua was fighting a battle, fire and brimstone fell from the sky and destroyed the enemy he was fighting. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened in the Bible. And remember, Elijah called fire down on Mount Carmel that destroyed the fire was so hot, it burnt up the sacrifice, it burned up all the wood, it burned up all the stones, and licked up all the water in the trench. I mean, consuming fire. So God is going to send fire in the last days, and we're going to see also mingled with blood and hail. Okay, well, the blood is actually the color of the water that's going to rain. Now, this is what happened, guys. 2 nights ago, this happened in Oregon, on Wednesday night in Oregon. I want to thank Jay Martin in Eastern Oregon who took these pictures. I want to show you. But the water, it rained. Now, the first part, the top picture you're looking at, that was the cover on his pontoon boat. He had a silver cover on his pontoon boat to protect it. It rained that night, and when he got up the next morning, went out there and looked, the water on the pontoon boat, the rainwater, was blood red, and you could see the dust in it. That is iron oxide, so the water was mingled with blood, okay? And there you see that was a plate that was actually laying on the ground, and that's what the water looked like in the plate. And you could see how much the iron in the water. So it rained blood red rain in Oregon on Wednesday night on the eve of Pentecost. I think it's very fascinating. We have that happening, rain, blood red rain on the eve of Pentecost, the same time that we had the comet Swan on the eve of Pentecost that was soaring through the heavens as a sign in the heavens. Fire and rain mingled with blood. Okay, now when all these things are happening, the Bible said you're going to see great signs and fearful sights. It said that when you see these things happening, he said, we're not to be afraid, okay? But we're to look up into the heavens. For there will be signs in the sun, the moon, the stars, distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves will be roaring. Men's hearts will fail them for fear, for looking after those things coming upon the earth. For the powers of heaven shall be shaken, okay? Then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to come to pass, he said, look up, lift up your head, your redemption draweth nigh. All right? So I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Folks, seriously, we're living in the last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ because we're running out of time.